Hello everyone, I'm Brandon Marcello. This is Joel A. Erickson. We're at the halfway point of the season, believe it or not, and Auburn gets an off week to adjust, look at some strengths, some weaknesses after a 38-23 loss at Mississippi State. Joel, where do you think they go from here the rest of the season on offense and defense?
I think if you look at what they've done the last couple of weeks, it's clear that Nick Marshall is kind of the catalyst on offense. Even in the running game, when they've made plays in the running game, going all the way back to Kansas State, it's been Marshall who's making them. And so you kind of have to, you almost have to make the offense more Nick Marshall heavy, I think.
Yeah.
Now the flip side of that is Cameron Payne's done a good job, mostly, especially in the second half, kind of breaking some stuff in the second half. But you think that we'll see a little bit more of a certain running back of who you may have heard.
That's right. Trey Mason's coming back. No. I think we're probably going to end up seeing a little bit more Rock Thomas. We saw him with 6 carries against Mississippi State. Rock said he wasn't really expecting that. The coaches said, yeah, we were planning on using him more involved, but it looked like they were using him because they weren't so certain they were getting what they wanted out of the running game, so they tried him out. He provided a little bit of spark. First 3 carries went for 36 yards, but after that trailed off in the third quarter, but he still had a 5-yard run. He looked quick. I mean, he made a couple wrong decisions, but the talent's there, and he's a great compliment, I think, to Cameron Payne and what he does.
Different kind of back.
Corey Grant, as Rhett Lashley said, is kind of a lightning rod. People expect him to do a certain thing, which is run outside. Having said that, I think I hate doing this, but Cameron Payne, if you put him together with Corey Grant, is sort of like a Rock Thomas. Rock's just got that extra burst, but he also could take a hit, and he's very good between the tackles as well, and he's only going to get better. Corey Grant's a senior. What we've seen from him is about what you're going to get. So I think we're going to see more Rock Thomas. Coaches said so, and this bye week for them is a really good time for him to learn from his mistakes and see how much more involved he gets. Because you're obviously at a crucial point, but I think they have a pretty good idea of where they're going to be going forward, and we got a little bit of a taste at Mississippi State.
Defensively, the blitz. The thing to watch is the blitz. They've already been bringing a lot of people, doing a lot of different things, but every week Ellis kind of says at the same time over and over again, we're just not getting it with the front four.
Yeah.
He mentioned that both their interceptions came on blitzes in one way or the other. That means the secondary is going to have to play a lot of man, but they don't have a guy who can bend the edge. And if you don't have a guy that can bend the edge, it's really hard for tackles because if you think about it, defensive tackles don't make a lot of sacks. They just blow a guy out and go straight through.
Yeah.
They get push and pressure unless it's Nick Fairley.
Yeah.
He was won like every defensive award.
Right.
So I'd expect to see the blitz. You're gonna see a lot of the blitz, a lot more man-to-man. They're kind of stuck. They have to.
They got to. I mean, we have yet to see a pass rusher emerge from this defense. And I
from
don't
the defensive line.
Defensive line, excuse us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna have to figure out different ways. That first part of the season was Casanova McKenzie coming off the edge at times. We haven't necessarily seen that as much here these last couple of games, at least as production goes. We'll find out here what they got to do. Carl Lawson, who knows what his future holds. The earliest he'll ever even come back is November, and even if he does come back, does he have that same explosiveness? So many questions right now at the defense. And we did see in this game against Mississippi State some of the youth show up. They were good in coverage at times, but then you get in a pass interference call. You're letting a couple things go. There's some things they got to improve on there. But the defense overall has done very well.
Way better than last year.
It's
much better than last year.
Better than last season, obviously. And at times, though, it didn't look like against Mississippi State, especially when Dak Prescott took off. I just don't know what Auburn really could have done much different other than not missing assignments. But they were missing several assignments. They were able to cover it up in these earlier games, too.
Yeah, they've... The thing is, at the halfway point, you have to look at the statistical profile. And even after the Mississippi State game, which is the most yards they've given up, the defense gave them chances to get back in. They had 3 touchdowns of 33, 32, and 15 yards. Very difficult for a defense. Statistically, there's something like 97 or 87 yards better or something like that per game. points are down almost. Oh, crud. My memory's failing me, but I think it's almost a touchdown. They're better on defense. Doing this kind of halfway evaluation thing right here, coming off of a loss, so obviously some of the negative stuff's coming up.
Yeah,
but,
fresh, yeah.
When you look at overall, compared to what Auburn's been for the last 5 years on defense, way better.
Oh yeah, obviously, and the offense you suspect is going to take a turn at some point to where they're going to get uptick in production. You know, having 2 games of 23 points, 24 points. There's a lot of hiccups against good defenses. That's not a great sign because they're about to face some more good defenses. And the names of guys like Ole Miss coming up in November, and who knows? South Carolina, the schedule. No, I'm just kidding. They're going to beat South Carolina. Well, I think that's about it. Halfway point right now. A lot of questions. This week right here is the biggest week of the season. When as far as it comes is the future of the program and what they're going to do and how they're going to attack this back half, because after this there's no time to sit back and make big changes. There's not enough time to do so with all these big games up ahead. We'll have much more coverage throughout the off week at AL.com.